Hello and welcome to the concept map that I created for the final individual presentation based on the theory matrix that we had created over the past several months of the semester. My name is Alex Baker, a junior here at the University of Nebraska, minoring in leadership. So this class has been very helpful as to understanding all of the different leadership styles. The assignment was to outline all of the various leadership styles that we were taught over the semester and how those kind of fit into the overall leadership arc and really understanding those on a deeper level. So in making a 4 to 5 minute video, it's hard to breeze through all of them. So I tried to include as many as I could, but also try to be realistic about all of fitting everything in for time. So this is going to be a little bit more abbreviated than probably desired, but try and go through them all. So first with the trait approach. The trait approach was an interesting one to learn about. This one is very one-dimensional in that it's focused more so on the leaders than it is the followers. So it's really easy for the leaders to just exhibit specific traits and have the followers kind of follow along with that. As a result, leaders learn about their own traits and what is effective for them as far as moving forward in the trait approach. The same for the skills approach. It's also just leader-centric in that regard. However, it's just about the development of skills for leaders. It refining specific skills can lead to more effective leadership that benefits both parties. However, they don't really care much about the followers and what affects them. The behavioral approach here that we have as well is more focused on kind of either task-oriented or relationship behaviors, whichever one they are kind of going for in that outcome. When we look at the outcomes, you either have one of two. You increase production if you're more task-oriented, and you can build better relationships if you're more relationship-oriented in your behaviors that you exhibit there as a leader. The transformational approach, this is where we start to focus a little bit more on followers. What I found very interesting about the transformational approach was basically that you are striving to get more out of less. So leaders don't have as many resources as probably they would like in a situation like this. So as a result, they really try to transform and transcend their subordinates and followers to a place that they were not expected to be through this leadership style. So you get more committed workers as a result of this process. The same for authentic leadership. This one takes a lot of time to create because you're going for a higher level of trust between subordinates and leaders, which results in more harmony in the workplace. But it takes a lot of time to establish those long-lasting and trustful relationships in there as well. So something to keep in mind when analyzing authentic leadership. Servant leadership is also a time-consuming one, but this one is really follower-oriented. It's where leaders immerse themselves into subordinate situations to best serve their subordinates, to put them in situations where they will feel the most empowered. I work in a restaurant, so servant leadership is really something that I am accustomed to with my managers on the floor. They're constantly on the front lines helping us succeed in any way that they can, or us succeed in any way that we can, because that helps their ultimate goal of a better restaurant that they're running as well. So it creates an elevated level of community and trust, and followers become more empowered. Adaptive leadership. This requires leaders to be more versatile in their styles of management depending on the situation. The same for the followers. They need to be flexible and able to mold into whatever style that the leader is going for there. So this again is for surpassing the normal expectations for followers in a given situation. Situational leadership, the context varies in this situation as the magnitude of problems shifts. So you kind of address each situation differently and kind of pick and choose the battles that you want to fight in this one. The outcomes for this one are to achieve goals that were once not expected to be attainable. The path goal theory, this is basically building the easiest path possible for followers to get to their desired goal there as well. So the outcomes are the primary the primary outcome of this is, again, building an easy path for the desired goal, and this is done through finding which behaviors exhibited by leaders elicit the best responses from their followers to make them most well-equipped to accomplishing their goals. And then finally, I included a slide about team leadership as well. This requires that the followers are really giving the leaders their attention and focus. They also basically collectively show their strengths and weaknesses as a team and exhibit what individual strengths and weaknesses they have as well. As a result, this shows up in a lot of situations where delegation is high. So maybe one team member is really excellent at making graphics and another one is really good at writing. If you were building a website, you would kind of find that out in that level of delegation. So this creates a higher level of efficiency and creates a higher level of shared goal accomplishment as well. So I hope you enjoyed that presentation, and I really enjoyed making this concept map as well. So thank you very much for tuning in, and have a wonderful rest of your semester. Thanks.